Well, hello there, my Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your soulmate reading for December-ish 2019. Otherwise timeless. Whenever you're supposed to see it is when you're supposed to see it. Making all my vids timeless now, except for, you know, things that are lunar cycle specific, as I do the What Do I Need reads. Welcome. If you are new to my channel, I am Angelo Lyons, Mal for short. Professional, rich professional, intuitive, and president of Drawing the Circle Productions. Really happy to be doing these reads for you, for your satisfying, romantic, sexual, intimate soulmate contracts. How exciting is that? If you are new to my channel, you might want to check out some of the videos in the description box explaining how I look at soulmates and twin flames and other contracts pre-incarnationally agreed. To put a fine, simple point on it, soulmate contracts are satisfying pre-incarnational agreements that you make with other souls prior to incarnation to help each other heal. And that's why it can take any number of different forms, and those are the readings that I've been doing previous to this series. You know, it could be parental, could be best friend, could be sibling. This time we're going right for it. We're going for the romantic, intimate, sexual soulmate relationships because we've been doing so many of those through Twin Flames, and go watch the videos. I did one called Clarifying Twin Flames, Soulmates and True Lovers, but that was all inspired by the work of Matt Kahn, who did a video called Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined. And by the way, today I got shipped to me Matt Kahn's healing mantra deck. Now I was gonna say, I was waiting for this to come, but I had to start doing the soulmate reads. So we're not integrating these into these reads, although they're amazing. I'm gonna do an unboxing later when I get a couple more of these done, because they're just wonderful. Literally got them today. So we're gonna have to wait for the twin flame readings after these soulmates so that I can integrate them into the readings. It's just not fair to the Pisceans and the Aquarians. Man, I wish I had come yesterday morning, but they came this morning. So there you have it, right? Gotta be fair. A couple of things before we dive in. This is a general read, right? So if it doesn't fit, don't try and make it fit. You'll often hear, take what resonates. Well, how do you know what resonates? How does it feel in your body, right? And if it's a kick in the gut of something you don't want to hear, it's still usually a valid piece of intuitive information. So just deal with it. Just deal with it. Otherwise, you know, beware of the mental gymnastics of trying to make things fit, which is why I always do at least sun, moon, and rising signs whenever I do a zodiacal series read like this one, except adding in Venus because it is relationship based. Venus, the planet of relationships, love, and all of that stuff. So please do check your other signs. Other than that, I think we're pretty much ready to dive in. Just please remember to breathe. The cheapest spiritual practice ever created, probably the oldest spiritual practice ever created, to be aware of the breath, to focus on the breath. Eastern, Western, meditation, contemplation, right? Rebirthing, all breath work has just throughout the millennia served many of those on the path, because you have to breathe anyway, right? So just to be conscious of it, and then you can add to that the truth that every time you inhale, you're breathing in grace, prana, chi, life force, the reiki, the shmeki, the eggs and the bakey. Integrating it into every cell in your body and exhaling that very same grace and blessings out into the world. So I'm being aware of my breath as I do the readings to bring in the guidance and the grace very spontaneously in the moment, anchoring myself in silence and meditation in between these reads to prepare. So if you're doing the same, you're going to be breathing in that very same essence, energy, vibration that I'm pulling the information from the reads for. That should just make it a deeper experience for you, and I would think eliminate some of the guesswork. Is this my reading or not? Cool. So let's do this. I think you're going to like what we're going to do. All the decks that I'm reading are in the description box below, as well as the links for my 2 ebooks are on there. Spell Ingredients, Words of Grace, my ebook. I marked down $10 from $24.95 to $14.95 just for the month of December. You might want to get it. It's been very helpful for people to get through the holidays. So go have a look. Go check out my website. and all that jazz. Oh yeah, shooting for 1,000 subscribers to do Drunk Tarot. Watch the vid I did on Drunk Tarot. Let's breathe. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Had some kitten antics going on under the table, which is just not allowed. It's like they wait and hide until I record to start pulling shit. So again, please take a nice deep breath, and we will do this. Here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, one Caroline Mace archetype deck for the divine feminine. That was the other thing. We are doing divine feminine, divine masculine in this spread. Has nothing to do with bodily gender. Kind of feel out which one you are. I identify myself as predominantly divine feminine, but I got a lot of divine masculine energy too. But when in most relationships, I tend to play the more divine feminine, the more intuitive. So feel that out for yourself. It's just a good way to differentiate between two people in a romantic, sexual, intimate context. Cool? One more time. Here we go. Please, my collective pantheons, one card in clarity, an archetype card. What is the dominant archetype, the soul power, most associated with the divine feminine in this Capricorn collective? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate, love, romantic, sexual, intimate contract. Please, what is the dominant archetype for the divine feminine? And we've got a masculine family archetype, the Knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, which is wonderful in a romantic context and sense, because it is about romance and chivalry and honor in its light, but in its shadow it's not so great, and we'll get to that. We're going to grab one for the divine masculine as well, so we can compare and contrast. What would be interesting is if the divine masculine has a divine feminine family archetype. But do understand there are 9 families of archetypes. There's the survival, the masculine, the feminine, the divine, the wisdom, the healing, the creative, the action, and the wild card. I memorized them all. Yay, I only taught that shit for decades. You'd think I'd be able to remember it. So let's get one for the divine masculine here in this Capricornian deal. Breathe. Oh, my collective pantheon, same thing for the divine masculine in this Capricorn collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate, romantic, intimate, sexual, contract. Please, one card in clarity. What is the dominant soul power? Should be alchemized from lead to gold for the divine masculine, which is the Liberator. The Liberator is the action family of archetypes, which does make sense for the divine masculine. So we've got the Knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, and the Liberator, actually a pretty dynamic pairing. So each one has its lead and its gold. I'll read these now, but we will be referring back to them because they represent the two people, and you get to feel out which one you are. Now, there is, of course, a high probability that you will relate to both, because in a soulmate contract, you are going to be mirroring a lot about each other. Maybe not so much in form, but in content, right? More what's going on the inside. Archetypes are all about power, and power is all about motivation. Not the what you do, but the why you do it, right? So for this divine feminine, in the shadow attribute, the lead, if you prefer the language of alchemy, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. And let me tell you, we have got romantic delusions packaged, wrapped, and sold to us every day, right? About what romance is and what romance is, about what love is and about what love isn't. But I'm finding that there is many different relationship archetypes as there are people. So there's no such thing as one perfect relationship for everybody. So it's very easy to breathe in the delusions of what to other people might very well be fact, right? So tricky, right? And then to lead, to ally yourself, right? Allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, like a knight that will do anything for its boss regardless of honor. Considering that the light attribute, what the divine feminine is shooting for here, is loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. It's about walking the high road. It's about your values, your virtues, and your highest principles being in alignment with your actions, your words, your conduct, right? How do you conduct yourself? It doesn't matter how high and lofty your principles and your virtues are if you're not actually integrating them through what you say, what you choose, what you do, right? How you treat others, how you treat yourself, right? That's the Knight's, KNIGHT''S's quest. Lovely. The Liberator. I think you'll like how these two go together. The shadow attribute, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. Like, there are legitimate constraints that we should not necessarily be liberated from. For example, just for health's sake, not walking around naked in freezing weather, right? That's a legitimate constraint. Put some fucking pants on, right? Well, that's obvious and extreme. But, like, when it comes down to the legitimate constraints of being honest, like, if you're gonna be honest, right? But find a loving way to do it, right? So instead it's like, well, no, I can't tell them the truth because it will hurt them. Well, then there goes the legitimacy of your honesty claim, right? And your virtue out the window. So ignoring legitimate constraints. Imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate. So you liberate someone, but then you keep them under your thumb so you can control them. No bueno, particularly in a romantic situation. And plus, Knights usually do the liberating, so this should be an interesting dynamic. Like I said, I like this pairing so far. The light attribute, the gold, if you will. Freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns, right? Because the only thing that really we need to be liberated from is ideas. The illusion of separation. Well, if we're all separate from each other and Newton was right and there is subject and object and never the twain shall meet, well then I can treat people like shit. Absolutely. I can be as crude and as cruel and as mean as I want to and do it to them before they do it to us. Until you start having fifth dimensional unity consciousness experiences, which any spiritual awakening will have a part of, where you get, oh my God, it's one quantum field, we're all one. It's not that let me do unto others as I would have them do unto me, the golden rule, little paraphrase there, but oh my God, no matter what I do, I'm doing it to me. It's not a question of karma then, it's a question of the true reality of things, that we are all one. Right? That's totally going to change on a dime. Releasing negative thought patterns, right? And it's not like, oh no, I had a negative thought pattern, I've damaged the universe. No, there is an ongoing learning curve for all of us. So to liberate yourself even from the fears of fucking up the divine plan, because you can't. The divine plan is self-correcting. Learned that the hard way. There's such a difference between control and free will. I've been saying this to my students and my clients. Free will is free will, control is control. They're not the same thing. We can't control the divine plan. We cannot control anybody else, try though we might, right? But we have the free will as to whether or not we want to be loving or not. That's the free will, the free choice, whether we want to be clear, open, honorable, loving, kind, considerate. Oh my God, I almost ran out the Boy Scout thing. I was a Boy Scout, isn't that terrifying? Kind, considerate, cheerful. I just remember brave, clean, and reverent. Not The Revenant, completely different film. So what we're going to do now is we are going to take the Daughters of the Moon Tarot and we're going to pick 5 cards for this Divine Feminine Knight archetype, fire, earth, air, water, spirit. I'll call them out as I lay them down. Ready? Breathe. Oh, that feels so good. Oh, my goddesses, please. 5 cards in total. Element spread for this Knight archetype in this Capricorn Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate, romantic, sexual, intimate soulmate relationship. Please, for this Divine Feminine Knight archetype, element of fire, what does she want? Face down. Element of earth, what does she have to help her get what she wants? Face down, fire, earth. My goddesses, please, element of air, what does she think about it? My goddesses, please, element of water, what does she feel about it? This one. And my goddesses, please, point of view of spirit. What is the overview for this Divine Feminine Knight archetype? I love doing that. That's so much faster than pulling one, explaining it, pulling the other, explaining it. Now, I will loop these together as you heard me say. Element of fire. What does this knight archetype want, right? Remember, the divine feminine, of course, has divine masculine. None of us are all one thing. We are all a balance of both. So this, just even putting my hand on it, I can feel the vibe behind that. It's like the divine feminine's like, well, let's do this. Let's make this honorable. Let's take this journey. Let's do this quest. So really her masculine energy is coming into alignment very much, perhaps coming out of romantic delusions, wanting something honorable and true love. Go check your Path of True Love read. So element of fire, what does she want? Capricorn. Now, what's interesting is this is a Capricorn read. So if you are the Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, the divine feminine, then this is really saying you are what you want. Like, you have everything that you need. Want you. What do you want? You want the slow and steady wins the race. You want highest potential. That's what 10th house Capricorn is. It's about your highest potential. Yes, people will say career, people say, you know, long distance journeys, but all of that is about achieving your highest potential. And if you knew what your highest potential really was, you would run from it. We all would, right? Been saying this for decades. If Jesus Christ had known he was going to be crucified at a young age, he would have been like, carpentry's fine, ma, right? If Moses knew he wasn't going to make, oh, spoiler, he doesn't make it to the promised land. Watch the movie, read the book, right? He would have been like, nope, Pharaoh's fine. I'll keep my skirt on. No one will know that you know, I'm circumcised, right? No, none of us would go for it, right? Terrifying, the journey, the hero's journey we have to take. So the path is already under your feet, but slow and steady wins the race if you are the Capricorn divine feminine here. If you're not, if the Capricorn energy is more of the divine masculine there, then we're looking at that what you want is this divine masculine. So you have to, again, play this both ways, but really you're the one that you want. If you're the divine feminine Capricorn, you are the one you want. Ooh, 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 honey. Just saying. Oh, honey. Honey. There's honey in my coffee. That's how I stay so thin. Raw, organic, filtered honey. So what you want, the wick, right? So this is the fire, this is the wick and the wax, the element of earth that allows the flame to be lit. And we've got the Three of Blades, which in this deck is not heartbreak, it's focus. Oh, one of the reasons I love the Daughters of the Moon Tarot so very, 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 very much. Thank you, Fiona Morgan, because it's not heartbreak, it's about focus. It's an air card. Heartbreak is definitely a water, right? So that would be a cups thing, and there are plenty of cards in the suit of cups that can spell out heartbreak. This is more about focus, focusing the mind. So how interesting, we've got an air card to help you get your the earth, your fire, what it is that you want, which is an earth sign in here. One more second, please. So sorry, we've got feline shenanigans. It's like they line up and wait one after the other to just like knock shit over and make noise. I'm so sorry. Motherhood, no one ever said it was going to be easy. But none of mine are going to college. They're cats. So let's pick up where we left off. What is the element then of air? Air that feeds fire, right? It's so really this card of focus is saying your focus, right? Focus. Not focus on the other person, focus on your path, focus on yourself, focus on your own healing. And now this position element of air will help clarify that. Oh dear, decisions, right? The Eight of Blades, not the prettiest card in the Rider-Waite deck, but this is Chokhmah, the Israeli desert goddess of the winds, right? Winds coming from every direction. Which one shall you hear? Which one shall you listen to? Which one will you set your sail by? The way you have a sail in the desert for, I have no S-A-I-L. I guess you could have a desert S-A-L-E, depending on what your goods are, right? But, you know, in the Rider-Waite tarot, it's being bound and blindfolded by all those swords. But this is more about a card of decisions, and Chokhmah being one of the spheres in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. You might want to look that one up. I believe that is in the throat chakra. It's either, is it justice and mercy? It's justice and compassion. I forget. Pardon the memory lapse. The Kabbalistic language is not my native one, but Caroline May's Anatomy of the Spirit. Go read it. You'll see what I mean, right? So something here about a major decision to make, which would make this very element of air. throat chakra. So the difference between a choice and a decision is, if you like, volume or amperage, right? Like how many volts are in a voltage. I'm gonna have coffee. It's a choice, right? More or less cream, more or less caffeine. Pretty much you're gonna have the same consequence, right? For the choice. But that's it. I'm quitting everything and moving to Sumatra, because that's where the beans are from. I'm going to become a coffee farmer. That's a life-changing decision. And not one at 51 years old I'm ready to make, right? So it's on the mind. And what is a bigger decision than perhaps for the knight, K-N-I-G-H-T, keep clarifying that, to go on this journey, to take the quest. Because it's a slow and steady wins the race thing. It's the path, even a soulmate contract, romantic, intimate, sexual, maybe everything that we truly want, but that doesn't mean that it's not daunting. Not as daunting as a twin flamer, and go watch the videos in the description box and you'll understand why I say that, unless you've been following me for a while. But certainly a lot of work has to be done. All relationships take work, including soulmates. The difference is that they tend to be more symbiotic, in a sense safer, because they're not so turbulent. But the foundation of it being that you help each other heal, right? So satisfying, soothing, sympathetic, symbiotic, a lot of S words. Cool, cool. A lot of alliteration, which I kind of love. What is the divine feminine feeling here? Her element of water, and here is our first major arcana card, the trickster, half of the card of the devil. It is the saboteur. So very, very much afraid of making the wrong decision. What's so interesting about that is if we look at the coyote, and every pantheon on planet Earth has some sort of trickster god. Here in this deck, it's the coyote woman. The saboteur archetype, survival family archetype, everybody's got it. Think Wile E. Coyote, right? It's about survival based on decisions of empowerment or disempowerment, and what's going on in the mental, a life-changing decision. So what is this saying? What you have is you have the ability to focus, but you have to get really clear on not just what you want, but why you want it. Is this a question of loyalty, romance, and chivalry? Go look up the chivalric code, the code of chivalry, and a love of honor. Is it because you want something honorable? Then you know it's going to take work to keep it honorable, make it honorable, particularly if there has been some shadowy shit going down. Last one we're going to look at is the card of spirit here for the divine feminine. And here we have the Pisces card. Now, look, whenever we have court cards show up, particularly when we're only doing like 5 cards from this deck, 2 out of 3 of them, these may very well indicate people, but not necessarily specifically a Capricorn Sun, Moon, Rising, whatever, or a Pisces Sun, Moon, Rising, whatever. Although certainly, like we've defined this one, if you're the Capricorn Divine Feminine, then you are the one you want. This is all about you, but you doing the right thing for you. If the Capricorn is the Divine Masculine for you in this read, then you want this longer term thing with them, but slow and steady wins the race. If we're looking at the Pisces card, though, then we are looking at something that is, in a way, inexplicable to the mind alone. It is something intuitive. It is something emotional, which the Divine Feminine, one would think, would have a little bit more ease of access to this, but may not be able to put it in a linear, logical, explanative language. Boys, oh my God, you have no idea the shenanigans and the tomfoolery going on. Excuse me for a moment. Well, that was the third cat just knocking over one of the trees in the living room. Jesus, they're up for it today, aren't they? Whew, right after a full moon, go figure. So tuning back into this Piscean card, I really apologize. Boys, what are you gonna do? That there is something very 12th house about this, that there is something intuitively, divinely planned going on here that is beyond the 5 senses, the realm of the soul, and definitely the quantum field is in action. But definitely along with that comes this feeling of mysterious love. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but very intuitive, very emotional. Let's look at and clarify with the Mythic Tarot for this Divine Masculine Liberator, right? Same thing, 5 cards, please breathe. Oh, I have to remember that the cat's interrupted 3 times so that I edited out of the video. Oh, they love making more work for me. It's not enough that I open cans and scoop their litter and love them. Oh, sorry, I was taking on Capricornian energy there, wasn't I? I have no planets in Capricorn. No offense. Please breathe. Oh, my gods. My gods, my gods, my gods. Please, 5 cards. Fire, earth, air, water, spirit, the elements spread for this Divine Masculine Liberator archetype in this Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate, romantic, intimate, sexual, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, potentially, soulmate contract for December-ish 2019, but also timeless. Whenever they watch this, please, 1 card for fire for this Liberator archetype. What does he want? Element of earth. Oh, I feel that. What does he have? Element of air. What does he think? Ooh, that one came out really easy. Element of water. What does he feel? Remember, I'm just saying he for Divine Masculine. Could be a she. Don't need anybody freaking out in the comment section. And finally, my gods, 1 card, last one. What is the spirit, the overview for this Divine Masculine Liberator archetype? Element of fire, what does he want? Oh, well, the 4 of Wands, right? What is the 4 of Wands? The 4 of Wands is sort of like, okay, you've got everything, you've got the stability, but the battle hasn't happened yet. The 5, right, will be the change, the battle. Actually, this is Jason and the Argonauts landing on the island where the Golden Fleece is. They're sort of gathering their troops, right, getting their plans together, taking a moment of rest before going in to battle to actually retrieve the Golden Fleece for Zeus, who commanded it be done. So if you think of that as, okay, okay, they're giving me the image. It's like, okay, you packed, you went on vacation, you're in your hotel room, you put the bags down. Yeah, you're on vacation, but it's like, oh, let's take a deep breath, right? Let's unpack, and now let's go do what we came here to do, right? So it's that lovely pause. And I get it, you know, 4 of Wands, people saying it's the 11-11 cards because it's, you know, it looks like an 11-11 in the Rider-Waite Tarot. But if you think of that as a period of rest before the festivities begin, I really like that feeling. And sometimes the festivities are not so festive too, but not feeling that here, particularly with the Liberator archetype. It's sort of like they want to make sure all of their ducks are in a row, all of their choices, all of their decisions to free themselves up in particular are in play, right? So what's the earth? What is the wax and wick that feeds the flame? And it's nice, we got a fire card in a fire position. Well, here we've got the card of Judgment. Hermes as psychopomp. Psychopomp meaning guide of souls. Hermes is one of the few gods that can go in between the worlds. In other words, you can go from Olympus to the world of man, down past the river Styx, into the underworld, and back again, all in the blink of an eye. He sort of has the easy pass across the river, so to speak, right? So, something revealed. Something of the soul, a decision being made. Now, what's interesting is this is usually a final judgment call, a final decision. So it feels like both Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine kind of get that this relationship is a big decision. Particularly because it's Capricorn, it might be something long-term. And there might be certain challenges built in, because what relationship doesn't have that? Even a symbiotic, soothing soulmate contract where you help each other heal means there are things to heal. But as we've got here, sort of like the skeletons coming out of the closet, things really being revealed. So that a fair judgment, decision, life-changing decision can be made. I like that. That feels really good, actually. Element of air. What is he thinking about all of this? Sure enough, second major arcana in this spread, the card of Justice, Athena. So is seeing this balanced, is seeing it like a liberator, which is so interesting because I have the liberator archetype in the sign of Aquarius, and who is the goddess who sits in the throne of Aquarius? Athena, right? So there's something here definitely about the mind, sort of looking over everything, not just making sure it's balanced like one would look over a contract, and soulmates are a form of contract, I get that, but also that the mind of the divine masculine is balanced in this, which leads me to think that because of this liberator archetype, there has been a lot of releasing a lot of negative thought patterns, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs about what's possible, about what love is. And it's just true, as we get older, even in our relationships, the outmode what we believe we need, when we find we become more self-loving, more self-actualizing, self-approving, self-forgiving, self-accepting, the whole 9 yards, that we need that less from people, that we become more honorable and more authentic. It does make the decision. It's like, well, how about we just see how this goes and we have fun and we'll grow and we'll heal and we'll learn and we'll play out this contract to its best conclusion, having no idea what the fuck is going to happen because no one does, right? How's that for clear, just, but let's be fair, let's be balanced at least. Well, and with that knight archetype there, with loyalty, romance, and a love of honor, it feels like these two have that in common. Probably because they've both been burnt as fuck before. Who hasn't? Teenagers. That's who hasn't. That's why I don't read for teens. Gotta be 18 years or older. Sorry, if you're watching my channel, you're watching my channel. I can't proof you like that. You think this is the 80s? Although in the 80s we got away with a lot of shit because, drinking age was 18. In the element of water, what it is this divine masculine wants. Here is our first court card here. The Knight of Wands. Now we also have the Knight archetype over here. So there is, in a sense, a kindred archetype there. But in this deck, it is the card of Sagittarius. I love Juliet Sharman Burke, the Mythic Tarot. She comes right out and puts the sign on the card, so you don't have to say Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. This is Sagittarius Bellerophon, the knight who slayed the Chimera. Aboard, if you like, or on the back of Pegasus, the original. And do remember, Pegasus was born from the blood of Medusa's severed head. Know where your livestock comes from, mythical or otherwise, right? So this is the knight that takes action, yes, often seen as a player, but here truly as a heroic knight. Someone who wants to do this right, but quick, right? Not so much like the Gemini, right? The element of air, but the element of fire, that there is great passion, there is great will, there is great determination here in the heart of this liberator to continue liberating, and that this contract be about the liberation of themselves, perhaps from the past, right? Let's create new memories that can release us from the past, from past toxicity. Let's help each other heal to release the emotional baggage, so that we can really, step by step, every day, move forward in this romantic, sexual, intimate partnership in a way that is healthy, a great passion for that to be free yet together, right? Last card of this little mini spread, micro spread here, we've got the Two of Wands. So perhaps still a little bit indecisive overall. Still, and that is sort of the terrain of the divine masculine, to really make sure that it's thought out, that it's not felt out so much element of water, although there is quite a bit of fire in this spread. Still in this place of, well, I want to, but let's make sure we're doing this right. What I love about the Two of Wands in this deck is it is Jason of Jason and the Argonauts, but you can't really see it because it's in the shadow. There's a cave there, and in the cave is Chiron, the centaur. Really, it's Kentor, K-E-N-T-A-U-R, that's the Greek, whatever. But the wounded healer, right? There's even an asteroid called Chiron that goes backwards in the sky like other planets does, and it fucks with our inner children, right? This is stuff we haven't healed yet, right? So there is still a bit like, I don't know that I'm ready, wants it, is really in a place, or wants to be, that makes more sense, wants to be in this place of like, okay, I'm just about ready to go. I'm just about like unpacked and ready to do this, but still in the place of spirit, not quite ready to sign on the dotted line in terms perhaps of a commitment, but definitely a willingness, a fairness, has sort of got all the important, they're giving me the words, internal infrastructure of honor here, of really wanting to do the right thing, but also very, very clear. Be clear, this divine masculine is kind of doing their own moral inventory, if you want to 12-step it, right? Really, really looking at who they are, what they are ready for, what they're ready to put up on the table, and what they're not, which is take it slow. Slow and steady wins the race. Does not have to be, insta commitment, just add ring, right? This should be taken slowly, or I don't like using the word should, because should really means wrong. Thank you, Louise. How you can heal your life. 1980, whatever. But if you really want to, you can, right? If you really wanted to, you could. Both of you take this slow, talk it out, right? Because there's such a balance of air here in the divine feminine and fire in the divine masculine that this is really good soul-searching stuff. Particularly, well, we've got the coyote woman. Really, she's kind of, I can feel the divine feminine a little bit like afraid of self-sabotage, afraid of being sabotaged, afraid of being tricked, been tricked before, really wanting to do this loyally. But then with the card of judgment and justice here in the divine masculine, it's like, I don't think the divine masculine here wants to or is capable of really abusing their power that way. Might have done that before, or might have had that done to him as well. All right, we're not done. We got 3 more cards to lay down. I am so tempted to open these for this. No, it's not fair to the Pisces and the Aquarians. I know. Comment in the box below. Tell them to go pound sand. Breathe. Ha 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 ha. Oh, the higher selves of all involved. I love this part. This is my favorite part. Please. 1 card in clarity for this divine feminine Knight archetype in this Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, sign, soulmate contract. December-ish 2019, though timeless, whenever they watch it is fine. Please, a whisper of true love from the higher selves of all involved for the divine feminine, and 1, please, as well, for the divine masculine. Same thing, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate contract, this divine masculine liberator archetype. Please, 1 card, a whisper of love. Let's see what these are. For the divine feminine Knight archetype, Union of Hearts, had a feeling. There is a connection of love here that defies explanation. I knew it when we had this one. I said that there's something in the spiritual sense that the divine feminine can't explain it. It's just like, I love you. Right? It's like, I can't, don't ask me to explain it why. My brain is still processing this, right? She's got that card of the decision-making process, just trying to make the wisest decision here, really trying to focus herself. But honey, slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Just know, this is probably past life stuff. It's definitely soul contract. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in this reading in this way. Union of Hearts. There is a connection of love that defies explanation. And that's the thing. Trying to bring it down to logical facts is not going to help the divine feminine. For the divine masculine here, we've got embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions, which is interesting because there's no water in this spread. However, in the water position, what do we have for the divine masculine Bellerophon, right? The Knight of Wands, really wanting to conquer, wanting to go in, great passion, great fire, and great big decision too. And with that card of judgment and justice, as I have said, though, they really want this to stabilize so that they can move forward. With that 2 of Wands there, they're not really, come here, they're, oh, pain in the ass card. They're not really ready to make that decision so much. But with embrace your emotions, divine masculine, I know it's not your forte, but you know, you might have to tap into your interior, not just your intuition, your emotions, your heart. Like when you think of this, if you are the divine masculine watching this, to think of this divine feminine Knight archetype, what happens in your heart? What happens in your energy field? Does your soul move? Because intuition, I find, when you really hear it, if the answer is yes, if it's affirmative, it's like nothing can stand in your way. And even if it's just a little wobbly, it's sort of like, try later, or the answer is no, right? So you have to be willing to actually feel. Take some time, take a shower, take a bath, wear a bathrobe, breathe, take some silent time, some stillness time, and really not just think, feel here. Because with this card of justice in the mind, you really want justice balanced with mercy and compassion. One last card down. We're going to do a Journey of Love Oracle card. I love these. I'm going to read it right from the book because what's written in the book I can't possibly memorize. I'm just never completely surprised by how well this one card can sum up an entire reading. So let's do that right now. Please breathe. As they shoot out the side. That was a nice Journey of Love Oracle. Here we go. We started with the collective pantheons. We end with the collective pantheons, please. One card in clarity for this Capricorn collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Soulmate, romantic, intimate, sexual, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, satisfying soulmate contract, please. One card, please clarify for them both. Where are they? Where are they on this journey of love? Oh, well here, the pagans are going to fucking love this one. I've never read this one before. Card number 31, the Christ Flame. Yep, they used the C word. Now look, I'm a pagan. I was raised Catholic to a point. Was already reading Scott Cunningham before I got confirmed. So there you have it. Right? Literally, witch dyed in the wool. I got my pentacle tattoo. But that word Christ means anointed. It's ancient Greek. I think it's ancient Greek. Christos, right? The anointed. It's when you were anointed, it means you survived the mystery schools, right? Even if you're a high priest, high priestess, elder, whatever, elevations within traditional pagan covens. Usually there's a doinky moment, doinked on the third eye, right? So let's see what this one has to do with. Never read it before. Could be anything. The Christ Flame. Now, this oracle does three things. The first thing it does is gives you kind of a description and meaning of the card. Then it kind of gives you oracularly, which is a nice big $20 word, like what it means in terms of an oracle. And then a poem, right? So it hits you on these different levels. Shall we? Please breathe. That's a fucking long one. Here we go. The Christ Flame. Within you burns the flame of the Christ. Beyond religion, this flame belongs to all hearts willing to receive the divine, opening to it as a lover would open the heart to receive the beloved. Okay. Though the awakening of the Christ within brings greater closeness to the divine, and therefore greater love and depth of compassion, it too can bring sadness, righteous anger, and a passionate need to contribute positive healing action and change in the world. All right, so it's not just talking about divine connection. It can also be talking about relationships as well as about sort of responding to what's going on in the world. Positive healing action and change in the world. You may be an introspective soul who does this through mastering their inner world with meditation and yoga, raising your own vibration with absolute intent that this bring healing to the world around you. And it's true, as we raise our vibration, we heal everybody, right? As we raise our vibration, the planet is raised in vibration. As the planet is raised in vibration, we are raised in vibration. Unity, consciousness, okay? You may be an extroverted soul that thrives in sharing messages and living a life of dynamic action in support of the causes that are worthy and moving your brave heart, capable of feeling divine outrage and responding with inspired action. They just really defined the divine feminine and the divine masculine here in those two, saying that you're either really introverted or really extroverted. Kind of feeling that here. You may be a combination of these soul types, and choosing wisely what you consume, which companies you support, what television you do or do not watch, and what you read, voting for the life you want to have around you in the world through your actions, internal and external. This is the Christ flame igniting within you, setting the world aflame with the divine love. Life changing, right? They're talking here about it within the individual, but this is happening within this relationship. There is something very honorable, social justice-y about this with the Liberator and the Knight archetype. Now, for the oracular description. This oracle brings guidance that you are connecting with the universal Christ consciousness, and your heart is meant to awaken as a sacred heart, bearing the Christ flame of divine love this lifetime. This could be like Ascended Master training. You are part of the wave of awakening happening on the earth now. You are exactly where you are meant to be and doing exactly what you are meant to be doing. Keep going. Slow and steady wins the race. Embrace your emotions. There's a union of hearts here. This Christ flame, it's not about religion. It's about unity consciousness, and so that we're all anointed. We're all in the process of awakening and helping each other awaken. What's going on the planet right now is so unprecedented everywhere you look that this is like a big get this time to incarnate. And I just recently learned about meta-incarnation, where the same soul can play the same lifetime over and over and over again, just like a fucking video game. And I've been seeing this world as a video game for so long. I had ColecoVision and Atari, by the way, back in the 80s. You kids and you virtual goggles. We didn't have that. We had a joystick, and it only brought so much joy. That really, we can take the same lifetime over and over and over again, making wiser, better choices in the quantum, right? So keep going. Here's the poem. Breathe. I have a feeling we're going to need it. Love is more than words can define. It is a feeling which wells up inside and longs for release. It is a smile which starts in my heart and spreads across my face like a silly grin. Almost had a Johnny Mathis moment. It is a knowing so deep in my being that every cell speaks in a language only lovers know. And most of all, it is the beginning, the birth, the possibility, the promise of a tomorrow, the hope that grows into something we can only imagine when hearts combine and love becomes more. Let's do a review for you. Please join with me now for the fourth time, although the other three were about my cats. This one's for you in your overview. Magic clap. We've got a divine feminine here with the Knight archetype in its shadow. Allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions, really feeling more the latter there. There's been some disillusionment because of some delusions going on with this Capricornian divine feminine, if this is the Capricorn. The light attribute, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor, really feels like that's what she's going for, this divine feminine in this soulmate contract. Keeping in mind that what she wants is the Capricorn card, Pasoi, the buffalo woman. Definitely a card of cardinal creative earth, a way shower. Capricorn ruled by Saturn, slow and steady wins the race, learning with every step, right? More long-term, durable stuff like career, but definitely in terms of a contract, something more stable, steady, prolific, and creative. What she has to get her that is the Three of Blades, to focus on what? Again, that depends. If the divine feminine is the Capricorn here in this reading, then it is about her focusing on herself, focusing on her path, about being loyal, her own healing, loving herself, chivalrous, having a code of honor and a love of honor. But in her mind, we've got that Eight of Blades, a card of major life-changing decisions and sort of juggling those blades, trying to figure out what is the best decision. With balancing that, we've got the card of the trickster, the coyote woman, half of the devil card in this deck. The other half is oppression, actually. In the emotions, that really afraid of sabotaging herself. What? Making a disempowering or a dishonorable or a disloyal decision here. But crowned with that Piscean card there just feels so, I want to say otherworldly, but that's not right. Ephemeral, perhaps etheric, definitely in the collective unconscious, this sort of emotion and love that going down to the union of hearts here from the higher selves, there is a connection of love that defies explanation. So that might be totally throwing off the mental process here of that 3 of blades and that 8 of blades. And of course, the emotional field would be like really afraid of making the wrong decision, a false decision, a disempowering decision, a harmful decision, because it does defy explanation, as though logic was the only way to determine what is right for us, right? The divine masculine here would make sense. That would be a liberator here, trying to liberate this this knight to an extent, the divine masculine shadow attribute, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. So if this divine feminine really has legitimate constraints, it's like, well, I'm not really sure if I'm ready for this. I can't explain this. I'm really grappling with my emotions and what I've been through, and can we please take this slow? So if the divine masculine can be like, no, okay, that's a legitimate constraint, that's fine, we can slow this down, we do not have to run through this. Let's go slow and steady wins the race. We've all been hurt, let's help each other heal through this. Because then we're looking at the light attribute, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns like you can screw up the divine plan, that everyone's just going to betray you or you're going to betray them. That's just not true. What we've got going on here in his element of fire, 4 of Wands, really wants to set up something stable and move forward on the journey. Not quite there yet. In the element of earth that helps him get his fire, we've got here the card of judgment, right? Yes, certainly about things being revealed, a final judgment call made so that a final decision can be made. Yes, people will say this card can be about reconciliation, and maybe these two have had a dance or two beforehand. So here it's really the divine masculine sort of doing the heavy lifting on that one, if this is true, of really saying, please, I want to reconcile. Can we please clear the decks? Can we please liberate ourselves from the toxic past? And then in the element of air here, really thinking about justice, really thinking about balance, really thinking about a fair contract being enacted here, at least negotiated between the two in terms of mental exchange of ideas. I definitely see that element of air in both the feminine and the masculine. In his emotional, though, where, well, she's got the coyote, the trickster, not sure if she's being tricked or playing a trick or having a trick played on her own self-sabotage, or being sabotaged by anyone else, particularly this divine masculine. He's got the Knight of Wands. He's like, let's do this. Great passion, great fire, definitely wanting to take the quest, the romantic journey, but definitely wants it done fairly with that card of justice. Yet, with that spirit card of 2 of Wands, still kind of going through his own preparatory process, not quite at the 4 yet. And what is the whisper of love from the higher self? Embrace your emotions. Don't push down your feelings or judge your emotions. Funny, because we've got the card of judgment here as well. So love what rises, divine masculine. Allow those voices to be heard, but not necessarily acted on until they are in alignment with your highest virtue, right? Because you really don't want your conduct to be in alignment with anything other than highest virtue if that card of justice is right above the card of judgment. And what do we sum up the soulmate contract reading with? The Christ flame. That this is about the inner and outer awakening, both the divine feminine and the divine masculine, both sort of their hearts bursting into this ascendant, fifth dimensional, unconditional divine love thing, which of course would defy explanation, as seen in the Union of Hearts card for the divine feminine. And of course, having to embrace the emotions. The divine masculine might be feeling things that sort of defy his own process, hence that judgment card of things being revealed within him, perhaps old wounds, old pains, but also old desires, old dreams that had been put so far back into the warehouse that now that some of these dreams might be coming true, really wanting to move forward with clarity and balance and honor, and of course, liberation from the toxicity of the past. So there we have it, my Capricorns. A bit of a jumpy, bumpy ride here, but worth it. This is a contract that I would like to know about as it progresses. So please, if this resonates to you, please do comment in the box below, the comment section below. Because with a Knight and a Liberator, this is something, particularly because of this Christ flame card here, that is going to have an impact on the world. It seems ridiculous that two people coming together, doing it honorably, would affect everyone on planet Earth. But that's the quantum, my darlings. That is the time that we are in now. It's always been that way. That's why certain universal laws have been taught certain ways. But it's not that we're becoming one. We've always been one. It's not that we're cut from the same cloth. There's only one cloth, right? There's only one cloth. There's only one thread that we cannot be separated from. So really a relationship of this nature moving forward in a loyal, honorable, liberating way is something that is going to bless all hearts. So may this Capricorn collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, soulmate, intimate, loving, sexual, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise contract manifest into form under grace and in perfect ways, and may all who want that be blessed with that as well, myself included, and may it begin with us. And so it is. Thank you so much for watching. That was a knockdown drag out, but very, very worth it, and we expect nothing less for our Capricorns, at least. You know, I love you. I'm a Virgo. I love my earth signs. Keep at it. Slow and steady wins the race, my darlings. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed of this holiday season, the rest of 2019, whenever the hell you're watching this video. Please do like and subscribe. Help me reach my goals here, because I'm going to keep turning out good content. And sooner rather than later, we're going to be integrating these puppies in there. See, I'm good. I'm not doing it just for you and everybody forward. I'm going to be honorable and loyal because the cards are on the table. Yeah, it's also the only way through. The high road is the only road for me, unfortunately. But hey, at least I had the 80s. Wishing you all the very best and the very blessed. But for now, my Capricornians, I love you so much. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.